Aloha, folks. It's Antonio with HypnosisProductReviews.com. If you've been following my podcast the past couple of years, my whole one or two people in my audience, you'll know that lately I've been interviewing a lot of marketers. The reason for this is marketing, hypnosis, and NLP, they go hand in hand. It's all about persuasion. And my next guest, from what I hear, is a world-renowned expert on NLP, or possibly not. Today I'm interviewing Ben Settle from bensettleshow.com and bensettle.com. How you doing today?
I am good, but I think I told you this. I don't know jack shit about NLP. So I get accused of doing it, but honestly, I've never studied it other than I read something about it in like a Tony Robbins book or something. So,
hey, you know, the thing about NLP, just to make this short and then get on to the meat of the crux of the podcast. My view is NLP is basically things that people are doing naturally. They're just some really good persuaders, and they found a couple really good ones. I guess codified it, figured out what they did. Just like with marketing, people like Gary Halbert. Every different marketer's got some really good skills. You know, they teach us if you want to model the greats, take a pen and start writing out their stuff by hand. Now, with that said, can you give my audience, the whole one or two people, a brief background?
Okay. Well, I actually started out in network marketing, which was in 1998.
You see the cross.
Believe me, dude, I agree with you. But that's how I started. A lot of people get started, and it's just hopefully you don't stay in it forever. And I sucked at it. I couldn't sell anything to anyone. I'm a very introverted guy. I just want to be left alone. I don't want to be out talking to a bunch of people, which obviously is great for MLM, right? When you're supposed to be talking to people and showing plans in living rooms and all that. Anyway, I sucked really bad at it. I got to the point where I was trying to hand out tapes, because this was back when they had cassette tapes in the late 90s, and door to door to businesses, and I was just getting laughed at, abused, basically. I deservedly so, don't get me wrong. And I just wasn't good at it. Eventually, I stumbled in like a complete accident into the direct marketing world and copywriting. And from there, it was like, holy crap, I can actually make money writing a letter. I don't actually have to go like door to door and all this, or talk to people on the phone and try to sell them and hard sell them. And I started doing copywriting, and I did that for like the next 7-8 years. And then I started specializing in email marketing. I still do copywriting, but email is now my thing that I specialize in. And now I do that. I don't do it for clients. I just do it all for my own products, and I teach it.
You know what? You just remind me. I'm going to show you a brilliant picture that because I get pitched by a lot of MLMers, especially. Here it is. Every time I get pitched by when I'm doing timeshare stuff, I get people trying to pitch me on their MLM, and I'm like, no, I don't want to hear it. See if you can hear this or see this. I don't know if that'll come.
Yeah, the aliens guy. Yeah.
Yeah, you see where it's what's it say?
It's not a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, three-sided rectangle. I get that pitch all the time. Now I've had so many people trying to recruit me to network marketing. I love what Gary Halbert said about. Have you ever seen the issue, the Halbert issue about MLMs? I think he kicked somebody out of his seminar.
It's I'll tell you a story about that. The title is Why MLM Sucks. That's the name of that issue. And that was the issue that inspired me from the very beginning when I first stumbled into copywriting, to not try to get clients, but to actually find someone that I could sell something and get a piece of the profits, because it'd be more. It never worked out at that early stage, but it got me going really fast, because when you don't have a client paying you, and you actually think you're going to get paid based on results, and think you will at least, you work a lot harder and you get a lot better at it a lot faster than you would otherwise.
Yeah, it seems a lot more realistic and not the idealistic. Like, come on, please! I hope they're gonna pay me.
Yeah, it kind of takes it makes you more responsible and all that, but it's good because that's how you learn fast. You don't learn with safety nets. You learn when you're just. It's kind of like that story. I don't know if the story is true. I have no idea. But when Cortez came over from Spain to South America, and he goes, "Okay, burn the ships," so that they couldn't leave. They had to conquer. I like that mindset when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, not so much burn the bridge, but burn your safety net back.
Yeah, well, yeah. So you have to do it. Sink or swim.
Now, there's two things that I have to thank you for. Definitely changed my life. One is the contest you did recently for the I think it was the 52 issues of email players. Ben had a contest where he was giving out 52 issues of a very very powerful product about teaching email marketing. I didn't win, unfortunately. We can add the whambulance, the wham 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 soundtrack after this.
A lot of people didn't win it either, so don't feel too bad.
Yeah, but what I did win is I did win. I think the runner-up got a podcast, so it's just as good. It's either 25 episodes or a podcast, right?
No, the only thing you could win was all the back issues of email players. Otherwise, you didn't win anything, and only one. And I didn't pick it; Jonathan did. So you know.
Oh no, I'm totally pulling your leg.
I didn't. I just let everyone know I didn't. In fact, I do that on purpose, so I cannot have responsibility for these things. I have too much responsibility as it is.
And the other thing that I want to thank you for is I would say up until maybe a month ago, I had a horrible drug addiction. I had the dopamine drip that you always talk about.
Yeah, we talked about that on the show. I remember that.
Yeah, the whole opportunity versus investor mindset, which I'm actually changing. I'm noticing changing enough. Could you describe what you mean to my audience about the whole dopamine drip?
Yeah, this is something that I've wondered about for a very long time. Where you get people, and this doesn't just have to be in our niche; it could be in any niche. They just buy products, and people do it on infomercials all the time. They buy products, and they never use it, and then they go and buy the next thing. And they don't use that, and then they buy the next thing. So they're never actually using anything. They're actually using whatever product they're buying to solve the problem they need solved. And the reason they do that is because they're addicted to the dopamine drip of the excitement of buying a new product, which is, you can make a lot of money selling to people like that, but you're really not doing them. You're not serving them. You know what I mean? So what I like to do is not sell to them at all, and I like to do, like, it's obviously worked on you. I like to try to get people out of that mindset. Because you're never going to help yourself if you just keep buying the next new thing and the next new thing. It's better to have a deep knowledge than a wide knowledge, at least in my experience. So let's talk about the MLM analogy, right? You got your matrix. You could go wide, but isn't it better to sponsor like 4 or 5 people and then help them each sponsor lots of people rather than just constantly sponsoring new people that drop out? So I don't know if any MLM people are watching this, but they probably get that analogy. But it's the same with this kind of stuff. I want people who are going to use the product, benefit from it, and then hopefully tell other people about it. But if nothing else, they benefited from it, and they're going to buy your next product automatically because you changed their experience with the first product. But you can't do that if you give into their dopamine. You just keep making new products every month and trying to serve them. And you'll drive yourself nuts, too. You really will sell them to those people.
Yeah, it seems like with that, you're always having to crank out new information, new products. And a lot of that stuff, I mean, you can only come up with so much stuff. You're going to burn yourself out. You're going to start hating your audience.
Actually, that's one of the okay, so we were talking about Michelle Spiva, who I had on my podcast. I met her at this mastermind I helped put on with 3 other guys called Oceans 4. She was one of our clients there. And it came up because there's this other guy who was an email player subscriber, actually, who was there, and he sells to, like, real estate, people in real estate who are basically opportunity seekers. They just want the next new money-making thing. And he absolutely hates selling to them. Like, that was his challenge. He's like, I hate this. I can't stand these people. He started to hate his market because that's what and really he needs to just change markets. The people he's selling to, you can't help them. It's like trying to help a heroin addict, who doesn't want to get rid of their problem.
Yeah, you're basically giving them. It's like with that line of thinking with a heroin addict, you're just giving them methadone or some other kind of opiate.
Yeah, or you're giving them the very drug they want. It's like, I mean, they don't know it though. They see people who have this thing where they're addicted to that dopamine drip. They don't realize anything. They don't think there's a problem. They should, because the freaking credit card bill's probably through the roof, and they haven't have anything to show for it but a T-shirt. But
yeah.
What can you do? You can't. All you can do is just say, "Hey, look, I refuse to sell to you because I'm not going to feed your addiction." I don't use that terminology. I don't say that, but I really refuse to sell to people. For example, If somebody's ever refunded a product of mine or somebody I know, I don't sell to them because that's a my friends and I sell quality stuff, and we don't misrepresent it in our ads. So I know that they only bought it because they want to get the dopamine drip and then return it and get their money back so they can go buy another one. And I refuse to sell to them. And they're like, why? Because, I'll say it because I think you're a loser. It's like, yeah, I know that you're a refunder and I don't want anything to do with you. That's one example. I'm not saying there aren't legitimate times you should get a refund. There are. I mean, like if something was not advertised as advertised or whatever, I get that, or broke down or whatever. But I'm talking about people who willingly do this. And ClickBank is full of these people. I mean, if you ever saw on ClickBank, they practically cater to it. You could buy a product on ClickBank and probably 3 minutes later return it and get your money back. And there's nothing you can do about it as a marketer. So I don't want those people. I don't want to give them any knowledge. I don't want to give them any acknowledgement of their existence because to me, they don't exist. To me, they're like, unless they want help and they want to change like you have, like you changed your wicked ways, so I can have a conversation with you.
I still do have some wicked ways.
Well, we're going to rotor those out of you over time. I mean, at least you're on the right track.
Some of the wicked ways are good. We can keep this a PC friendly show.
I think that I'd call you a recovering addict. Okay, that's what you would be.
Hello, my name's Antonio, and I used to have the dopamine drip. I should come up with a new name for those guys, Dopeaholics. Yeah, that could be good. Dopeaholics, or how would you call? Or you could call them WSOers. That might work.
Well, see that the warrior form is like, there's some. First of all, let me say something about there are some good people who hang out there. Why they hang out there, I'll never know. But I personally know people just like to hang out there. Maybe they just like to socialize or whatever. But a lot of the people in there they're going to drag you down. They're critics of things that they are not qualified to be critics of. For example, there was somebody in there who was complaining about there's this copywriter named Gary Bencivenga, who's literally the greatest living copywriter. There's nobody will dispute that. Can
I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was handwriting his ham letter recently.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! And I did this a couple weeks before Thanksgiving. I was picturing myself. My mouth is watering. I'm like, oh my god, I want a Kuro Buddha ham.
Well, he's brilliant. Over 40 years and $1 billion of testing that and nobody could beat him. Like when he went tested against other copywriters, his ads would always outpull the other ones. And this guy in the word form is like, I don't see what the big deal is, which is fine. Okay, like you don't have to resonate with a copywriter. Like something, I'm not in all his financial sales letters for his financial product. I'm not in those markets, so I don't want the product either. But I'm not going to criticize his technique and say, well, he's overly wordy and all this stuff. It's like the guy who said that doesn't even know what he's talking about. But that's kind of what the warrior form caters to. Now, I don't want to down the warrior forms. I think they do a lot of good things. But there's just people in there that you want to be careful of listening to.
Yeah, it's saying like, the company you keep. There's some.
You're the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That would include on the internet. So be aware of where you hang out on the internet for that reason.
True. Now let's see. After watching you, watching you, I can look in your window. I'm just kind of spying on you every day. Knock, knock, knock.
Stalker addicts.
No, don't worry. I'm not a fanboy. I think my guru fanboyism left as soon as I left Warrior Forum. Let's say you had a superpower. What's the one superpower you have that sets you aside from other copywriters / email marketers, and how does this differentiate you from others?
Consistency. That's the thing that I do that no one else does as well as, at least I hope not. And if they do, I need to up my game. But I consistently come in every day and write an email every day, sometimes multiple emails because I'm in multiple niches. And I just show up every day, no matter what. It doesn't matter what happened. Sometimes I write them in advance, so it's not like every day. But there's something going out every day. And most people just don't do that, especially people in the copywriting email world. They can write good copy and emails, but they don't do it every day. So, they're hurting themselves and they're holding themselves back. I think they'd be better than they are, but That's just makes it easier for me, I guess.
That makes total sense. Where I'm actually starting to get into the everyday practice of writing. You know, female copywriter Lori Morgan Ferrero. She has a Facebook group where every day for 30 days she posts up a random picture, and you're supposed to just kind of crank out a short story about it to get you into the habit of writing out every single day.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
It's a good way to get the imagination going. Now, let's say you had to start all over. Something bad happened. Maybe the government came in. God forbid the government comes in and does a bunch of regulations. You had to start all over, and you had half the time to get where you are now. How would you do this? Anything you might cut out, do different?
Well, I'm going to tell you my do-bag business idea. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking out the window. I can see about $200 right now.
Okay, so you've heard this, but what I would do, because I have a dog, and I hate cleaning up her crap, and I figure every other dog owner does not enjoy cleaning up crap and would actually pay someone to do it. If someone came to my door and said, I'll clean up your crap for you for $20, I wouldn't even think about it. In fact, I used to hire my girlfriend's dad to do it for me, and then he stopped doing it. It really sucked after that because I really liked the work he did. But anyway, I know all the people in my neighborhood who have a dog, and I would do a door-to-door sales pitch, even though I hate doing that kind of stuff. But I know that they don't like cleaning up dog poop, and I'd say, look, I'll clean up your dog poop. If I don't get every speck of poop out of your yard done the right way, I'll double your money back. And I would just do that, and I would try to get an average of $20 a yard, 5 a day. It's $100 a day. And I would do that for a few weeks until I got a good client base going. And if I had no money, I would do this door to door. But if I had some money to play with, I would get like a list of dog owners in my county or my city, and I would just mail it like a postcard saying the same thing. And I would go clean up dog poop. And then after a while, when I get the hang of it, I would go farm that work out to some other people, neighborhood kids, whatever, people who need cash, keep half the money for myself, pay them the other half. And now I've liberated myself from the manual labor part of it, and I would start expanding it to the county and maybe even beyond that. I'd start building an email list of everybody that I service, and I'd be using paid advertising to get more local people into my email list. I'd sell those people every day. I'd send some kind of email about dogs, related to dogs. It doesn't have to be about dog poop or anything. A little commercial at the end for my dog poop cleaning service. I would work in affiliate offers for other products that are related to dogs, try to make joint ventures with vets and dog trainers and groomers and that sort of thing, and get some reciprocate deals going like that. And I think it would do pretty well. I think if everything went to hell in a handbasket, I would probably do that.
That is a good way to make a whole lot of money.
Yeah, and you're doing something that people really... people just don't. I mean, who likes cleaning up? I can't wait to go clean up dog poop. No, nobody wants to. It's like the worst job in the world.
You just reminded me. I think of this memory maybe once every like 3 years. When we were kids, I think me and some friends, we were probably like 9 or 10. We were gonna go out around and clean up dog poop for people. We came up with
You've already done this. You've already done this then.
Yeah, but nice. I didn't think about getting paid.
Oh,
I was like, wow, we'll be nice to people. I don't know why we're doing it.
Holy crap! Wow, man, that is nice.
Yeah, I'm sure if some kids came up to you and be like, hey, we'll clean your dog poop up for free. You're like, okay, all right, here you go, kids. Here's $1. Here's a nice shiny quarter.
I give them some money. I mean, come on, man, it's worth at least $1.
Yeah, it's some money so they can go wash their hands later. Boy, do you have any kids yourself?
No, I just have a dog.
Okay, God, I'd feel bad if you had a kid. Just like I would feel bad if I had my own kid.
Me too, man. Trust me. I do not take that as any kind of
any kind of slight
whatsoever. I take it as like a warning, So
now, let's see. So I'm sure you're good with metaphors. So I'm going to ask you a question. It might come out a little weird.
Okay.
No, just imagine you're writing out some really good copy right now, and you're in that so-called zone.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself? What are you like when you're at your best, when you're writing good copy?
I'm in this like other world that I don't even realize time is passing. So it's kind of like the Narnia movies, right? Where they go into Narnia and they're there for 14 years and they come back and not even like a second has gone by. I feel like I'm there. like all this time has passed and yet it feels like I just sat down because I'm like at this point, I'm not even thinking, it's just happening.
Okay, so interesting. While I mentioned this, there's this lady that Judy Reese. She has a podcast for anybody listening. It's Judy Reese, Judyrees, with Collaboration Dynamics. Her podcast. Let's see. I think my video froze. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so hopefully it's still recording. Should be. Hopefully.
I didn't see it freeze, so you should be good.
Okay, so you still see my hands flailing about then. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
This podcast, it's about the thing she calls clean language, where it's basically using a very specific set of questions to pull out somebody's symbolic imagery. So it's a good way to start peering somebody's mind. And that right there kind of gives me insight. So you said that it's basically like for you, it's like you're in your own separate world.
Yeah.
Hello? Okay.
Oh, I don't know if there's a question.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I was just kind of going on about that.
Yeah, so you're getting all Freudian on my ass right now. Yeah, it's like, I do. I get in this weird. I don't think it's really much different than what other writers do too. I mean, you just start getting in this like flow of things, and the ideas are coming out, and you're not thinking, and and it's a good place to be. And sometimes it doesn't happen naturally. Sometimes you just have to like force yourself to sit down to write. But every day, if you just do it every day, it gets easier and easier.
Okay. Now so about the whole Freudian thing, tell me about your mother. God, that was some of the weirdest theories I've ever heard in my life. Tell me how you want to sit on your mother's lap. Like, no, not really. His problem was he was a big cokehead. You knew that, right? Let's see. Now, how I don't know if you still do it, but how do you model and internalize other copywriters' writing styles? Or how did you in the past?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and I've been talking to someone about this recently. When you first start learning copywriting, I think it's a good idea to pick somebody to follow. Now, it doesn't have to be someone you know in real life. It could be just a copywriter who's written a lot of stuff, or you read their ads and you study their writings. Because everybody's got everybody appeals differently to different writers. There's certain copywriters that are genius copywriters, but I don't really resonate with their teaching style or anything. And it's nothing against them. It's just everybody has, it's like that movie. Ever seen the movie Babe with the pig? And the farmer
I think so.
Okay, well, the farmer picks up this pig, and the narrator says the farmer picked up the pig, and they regarded each other. And it started peeing on him, right? Like that, they had like this bond. You don't even know why. He just likes this pig, and it's the same thing when you're picking a teacher. So for me, it was Gary Halbert. I could read his ads for pleasure because I enjoy it. So I used to handwrite his ads out, and I probably sounded a lot like him in the beginning, but eventually your own peculiarities will come out and come through when you start actually writing your own stuff, and it's just, I don't know. It's just one of these things that the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the more your own personality will come out in your writing, before you know it, you don't sound like anybody but you, as it should be. You should sound like you. You should sound like how you talk.
Yeah, we don't need any more Ben Settles running around, do we?
No, I mean, you don't need any more of anyone else. Like, everybody should be an original. The way I look at it, originals are worth more than a copy. I think Picasso said that or something. And yep. I believe that. I really do believe that. I think you want to be unique. You want to treat marketing as a whole like a talk radio show. If a wannabe Howard Stern comes on the scene, he might last for a week or two, but eventually be like, he's just a wannabe Howard Stern, or wannabe Limbaugh, or wannabe Michael Savage, whoever it is. It doesn't really matter. Being a wannabe of them is not going to get you very far. You got to have your own unique take on things, and it's not unlike the jazz world. I heard Ken McCarthy talk about this. He's like, a lot of high-level marketers he knows are raging jazz fans. It's not like you have to be a jazz fan, but he goes, there's all these similarities. Like in jazz, you don't get very far copying other people. It's all about improvising and doing your own thing and going your own way, and that's how it should be in marketing too.
Definitely. I like the quote about about it being original.
Yeah.
Now, what are some specific exercises that you've used or created that people can use to improve their storytelling and their copy?
This is really just the best thing you can. Well, you said Lori's. I don't know her personally, but I mean, I know who she is. Her thing was a good idea. Although I think the best way to do it, and this is how I learned to do it, is to go to easyarticles.com and start writing an article or as many as you can. Or I used to write like 5 to 10 a day for a while. Write an article or an email to your list. If you already have a list, just do this to your list and tell a story every day that ties into whatever you're selling. Now, in an easy article, you're just going to tie it into your, go to the link that you put in your resource box. You're not even selling anything. But it forces you to start learning how to tell stories. And telling stories is easy. People make it so complicated. Everybody makes it, and people who say they're simplifying it make it complicated by the way they explain it. I'll tell you how to, the easiest way to tell a story is just like if you're telling a story to someone. Imagine you're sitting down at a bar and you just say, hey, here's what happened to me today. That's a story. Or here's what happened to so-and-so. You tell a story about someone else. It can be that simple. I mean, it doesn't have to be this complicated. Well, there's 7 types of plots and all. No, screw all that. Just tell a fucking story.
Simple.
It's simple. It doesn't have to be made complicated, but people make it complicated. In fact, the best way to start a story is just say, let me tell you a story. That's how you start a story.
Yeah, that's. I was watching a DVD about storytelling for therapeutic stuff for hypnosis, and the teacher, Igor Ledovsky, was talking about how if you tell a kid or anybody, if you're like, hey, do you want to hear a story? Sometimes you hear the eyes gloss over. So we've just been trained ever since we were kids about listening to stories.
Well, yeah, here's an interesting copywriting story about stories. The late Jim Rutz, who was one of the greatest copywriters who ever graced this earth. I mean, he's just one of the best of the best. He died earlier, I think a few months ago, but he told the story once about this kindergarten teacher who every day she had to tell stories to the kids, like whatever. And they were always acting up and acting unruly during her stories, but she found that if she put a ghost in the story, no matter what the context is, could have been any story, it doesn't really matter. As long as she inserted a ghost somewhere in that story, the kids shut up and they listened. So you want to find out who your ghost is for your market. And once you do that, any type of story you tell will be interesting.
Okay, that makes sense. Is it almost like the us versus them market or us versus them angle?
Not necessarily. It's just that in her case, she could be telling a story about whatever, the 3 bears, right? But if she didn't put a ghost in there somewhere, as soon as she said, but there was a ghost in the house, suddenly they're like, oh, really? Like they all shut up. They all stop squirming around. And there's a lot to be said about that, because if you know your market well enough, you'll know what their ghost story is. Maybe it's not literally ghost, but the thing that keeps them interested and glued to things.
Okay, I'm like, how are you gonna sell to weight loss? I'm like, there was a ghost in the fridge.
Actually, that would make for a great email. Honestly, in fact, that is a good. You know what? Anyone listen, if you're writing email, write an email with a ghost story in it. It doesn't matter, and let your mind. I could totally do that. I could write an email to the weight loss market about ghosts easily. It would be so easy, and it would be interesting and so different. They're not used to seeing it. And I'm going to do that in fact, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it for the golf market. I'm going to do it to my regular list, teaching email marketing. I'm going to do it to the dating niche that I sell in. I'm going to do a ghost story for all of them just to prove that it can be done.
You know how to spell my name out and where to send the check to, right?
No, but that's all right.
That's
I'll
fine.
PayPal.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Now, what are a lot of copywriters talk about finding their voice. When was it that you found your voice?
When I started emailing every day, my own voice came out very quickly after that, because you can only swipe somewhat. You can't swipe for emails. It's like, there it is. I mean, you can, but you'll look stupid.
Yeah. And, you can't swipe from emails, and then you end up with a big fat letter from Ben Settle's lawyer saying, don't do that anymore.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, I'm just saying you won't get away with it very long. You'll have people, especially if you're swiping from people in the same market as you. I have had people steal my copy, like whole parts of it. And then their own list will email me to tell me, hey, do you know, because they're on my list too. Now, who does that help? Does that help that other person? No, it makes them look like a hack. So, it's just not a good idea. But just use your own voice. Tell your own stories. It's very easy, and then once you do it, it's fun. And it's profitable. People love it. Now, right now, I just, on my podcast, this last weekend, which was Thanksgiving weekend, I brought in a girl to do the emails for that list, just for the podcast. I don't have time to do it. She's one of my email player subscribers. She has been for a long time. She's probably got more testosterone than most guys. And so she writes with this attitude. It's just perfect for my show. And you know what? I mean, I've been teaching her the same thing. I'm like, here, just tell stories. I'm like, tell the story about how you lost 120 pounds. Because she did. She's now a fitness guru.
Yeah, she's
and I'm
cute.
Well, we call her the Ben Settle Show announcer babe. That's I told the producer Jonathan, I said, it's not going to hurt our opt-ins if we put an attractive girl on the page. So
no.
I was like, I'm not saying that's the only reason we picked her, but it came down to her and this other girl. I picked her because she's an actual subscriber of mine, and she knows my ways and all that. And I've been telling her, I'm like, tell a story. You don't tell a story every day, but you have some good stories just from your own life that you can do. And she's been doing that and kicking ass. So,
way to go, announcer babe. Yeah, I'm just gonna refer to her as announcer babe.
That's fine. We did that on purpose just to piss the feminists off. So
that's what I was thinking. I'm sure you've got, I was actually at work talking about that. You don't want people that are lukewarm as a customer.
Never. You want hot or cold. You're not doing it. I mean, I'll go biblical on you here. The book of Revelation, chapter 3, there's this part where Jesus is telling this church, you guys do good stuff. You're good people. You're helping the poor, but you're lukewarm. I'd rather you be hot or cold. I'm going to spew you out with all the other lukewarm people. I think that's the attitude to have as a list owner. You don't want them lukewarm. You want to make them hot or cold. If they're cold, good. They'll leave, and they can find someone they want to learn from. No hard feelings. If they're hot, they're going to buy from you eventually. But if they're lukewarm, these are the people that sit on the fence, and they're not going to make any decision. They're going to complain and whine and all this other stuff, and they're going to suck your life away. So I think it's good to market in a way where you're going to repel the people you don't want around you, because you'll naturally attract the people you do.
Exactly. That's what I love about your opt-in box, where you've got that. Where you're basically telling people, "Hey, I'm going to pitch stuff to you."
Oh yeah, and I think that's a good idea, because now not only is that good if you're going to use Google AdWords, because Google likes that. They like full disclosure that you're getting in a marketing list, you're going to get promotional emails. But it's good to weed out the people that really don't want to be emailed every day. Well, then they won't subscribe, because I email every day, sometimes several times a day. So I don't do them any good by trying to trick them onto my list. And they can go off and go do whatever they're going to do, and I'll talk to my hardcore soldiers who I want to talk to. And, it works out.
Email a lot. What I'm going to start doing. So right now I'm working on copying or handwriting a bunch of I hate this word, colloquial sayings. Mm-hmm. Just trying to get that conversational thing in my writing. After that, I'm going to start probably writing out some of your emails, just trying to get a different flow. Now, something that I want to show that I printed out of Ben's. Actually, would you want to tell people what they'll get when they subscribe to your newsletter at Ben Settle Show or bensettle.com?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. You get the first issue of my email players newsletter, which is a $97 a month newsletter, as Antonio knows. And but they'll get a PDF of the first issue, so they won't get a hard copy. It's just
I printed this one out, so don't think I'm special, guys. I'm not special.
Okay. Yeah, you'll get that, and there's 24 ways in there to make money with email that anybody can use, starting today. People have made thousands of dollars just with that. On the show site, you also get access to the transcripts every week of the show. If you like listening to the show, so you get the written transcripts every week. And we have other products over there, too, that we sometimes have discounts on and stuff. But basically, that's the thing you get, the free email players issue.
And the other thing I want to mention, definitely get on his newsletter. The emails are amazing. Very there's a lot of goodwill in your emails. It's not heavy pitching, even though it can be heavy pitch.
Sometimes it is. I vary it up.
It's conversational. It's enjoying.
Yeah, it's got to be worth someone's time. Like, when I write an email, it's got to be something that's going to entertain somebody, if nothing else, because that's what people want and that's what they respond to. But I still give some meat away. I don't want to make it a waste of, like, anybody with a brain can take any of my emails and actually get a lesson out of it, even if there's not an obvious lesson in it. If nothing else, you can observe how I'm writing my own emails to sell my own product.
Exactly. I think the first ways I started doing, getting good at writing bullets is taking all, I think I told you, I took all your show transcripts and basically wrote out every single one up until like episode 60 something or other. So anybody listening, you want a good way of getting really good at bullets, find not the show transcripts, even go to iTunes and look at the show description and I'll listen to the episode, kind of write out the bullets. Really good way to get pretty damn good at bullets. Now let's see. I think we asked most questions. It's kind of weird now because my computer's completely frozen.
I got like a couple minutes left, and then I got to get going anyway. So,
okay. Now let me see. Oh, no, one thing I want to talk to you about. Maybe you can go in depth about it. Is the handwriting of sales letters? Like how I know a lot of people say just mindlessly copy stuff. Do you have any advice for, I guess, how to copy it, if there's any kind of mindset you want to be in, any kind of questions you want to ask while you're writing the copy, etc.?
Yeah, first of all, you want to pick a copywriter to do that with that you enjoy reading their stuff. Otherwise, you're going to get bored doing it. And pick an old school direct mail guy. Don't pick any of us internet guys, because I'm sloppy. I'm a sloppy copywriter. And that's fine. In fact, I have a product coming out in a little bit called Slacker Copy, because I'm a slacker. I write fast and sloppy, but I make money with it. So go to the old school guys, and if there's a site called hardtofindads.com, where you can find all these old school guys like John Carlton, Gary Halbert. Pick one that you like and copy their stuff. And you don't have to write a whole 8-page ad out in one sitting. Just maybe a page. Just do it every day, just a little bit every day. Again, we do it, your hand will cramp up probably. It's fine. So just do it for as long as you can, and then just come back and do it again the next day. And try to pay attention to what you're writing. Try to ask, why is this structured this way? And try to pay attention to how the flow of information is. And this will all be, it's different with every ad, but you'll start getting a hang of it, and you'll start being able to do it in your own stuff without, and you won't be copying anybody. It's a structure thing. He talks about this first, then that, and the story, then the bullets. And you do that, and you'll get good very quickly.
Yeah, one thing I think I noticed past couple days, I've been doing a lot of bullet work, just trying to figure out the structure of bullets, and then copying, finding a bunch of idioms or conversational sayings, things like don't put the horse before the cart or cart before the horse, et cetera, et cetera. And I find myself when I think I heard the exercise from Makepeace, talking about taking some saying and writing out like 3 or 4 sentences for each one. Well, I got to the point where I started writing, and then I did not want to stop writing, even though I knew, I'm like, okay, I already did my sentence. I started writing. I do one paragraph, and then I kind of lead into the next one. So I think I'm starting to see the structure of everything.
It'll come to you. It'll just happen, and it'll be an unconscious thing. That's the thing. It's conscious at first, but eventually it'll just be there. It'll just come out of you, and you won't even think about it.
How do they call that? The 4 levels: the unconscious, incompetence, conscious incompetence, something like that.
Let me see if I can do that. I always get these messed up. I'm going to try this.
I should know what I'm a hypnotist.
Unconscious incompetence, where you don't know you don't know. You're unconscious. You don't even know you're incompetent. Then there's conscious incompetence, where you know you don't know. Now you at least know you have a problem, but you don't know what to do about it. Then there's conscious competence, where you can do it right while you're thinking about it, but you can't. If you let your mind slip, you can't. And then there's unconscious competence, where it's like driving a car. You don't have to think about it anymore. I think this is the first time I've ever done an interview where I got that right and didn't screw up the order or something. But
it's funny. I'm hoping this interview works because everything froze on my end. So I'm like, I hope this is recording everything. Should be. I hope. I really hope. If not, I get a free email player lesson.
Hey man, I got to get going here in a few minutes.
Okay, so
I
we
didn't
wrap
realize
this
it was
up.
getting this late. Not to rush you or anything, but shit, it's 11:47. So
Don't worry, I'm looking out. I'm in Hawaii. It's nice out. I want to get to the beach. So everybody listening or watching, my whole 10 people in the audience, go to bensettle.com, bensettleshow.com. Check out the podcast. I think I've listened to all episodes except for the past 2 episodes.
nice.
And let's see, anything else I can mention? Let me see. Well, definitely check out all of his email player rules. My favorite rules, let's see. I'll say, I got a big list. I'll save the ones I like. Emails, talk radio.
Yeah.
Rate drunk, edit sober. It's always
Absolutely.
a fun one. Until the next day. And then if you have fun writing it, then you're gonna have fun reading it. And I think that should cover everything. And yeah, Ben, thank you so much for allowing me to pick your your ever so humble brain.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, man. I appreciate it.
And hopefully this will not just be it. Hopefully the interview will come out, and I will get this out to you soon. Everybody, have a nice day. Aloha.